Angeba Sojola here. In this video, we'll be particularly looking at an air defense system which was developed by the Russian Federation in the around the 90s, right? And it first went into service around 2007. This particular air defense system is known as an S-400, right? Triumph, or an S-300 PUM-3, right? Now, when we speak of the S-400, right, we are fundamentally speaking of an air defense system which primarily has about four critical components to it. Number one, the first component is fundamentally known as a 30K6E, which is fundamentally a battle management system which has two elements to it. Number one, it has something called an acquisition radar, right? And number two, it has something called a command post. Now, when we look deep into the acquisition radar, it is fundamentally an advanced radar system, right, which has about two features to it, right? Number one, it has something called a 91N6E, right, which is fundamentally a target acquisition radar, right? And it has a second feature, which is known as the 92N6E, right? Which is fundamentally a fire control radar, right? These two radars help with the detection, the tracking, and the targeting of multiple objects, right? With precision. When we look at the command post, right, we are fundamentally looking at an integrated command and control system, right, which has the ability to simultaneously engage multiple targets simultaneously, right, and with precision. Number two, there's something called a 30T6E, right, which is fundamentally a logistical support for missile storage and equipment maintenance. Number three, you have something called an extended advanced engagement range, which can engage with objects or targets at about a distance of about 400 kilometers. It also stands at about 6 times the speed of sound, right? It also can engage with targets and objects that are at an altitude of about 30 kilometers, right? Now, simultaneously, it can engage about 80 targets and 160 guided missiles simultaneously. And number four, a missile launcher that can launch multiple types of missiles, from LR missiles, which are long range missiles, to SR missiles, which are short range missiles. It also has the ability to launch ballistic missiles and something called satellites, right? So fundamentally, that is what you are speaking of when you are speaking of the S-400 Triumph system, right? It actually costs about 400 to 500 million US dollars, right? It's quite expensive, but if you want serious type of air defense capabilities, you know, particularly from NATO and American military equipment, the S-400 is fundamentally what you are looking for. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'll see you in the next video.